move on. So, obviously, the biggest story of the night. I mean, obviously, you had the Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which had a very, very interesting end to it. But the biggest story of the night, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, and what critics are calling an absolute classic. Some people are saying that this was Kenny's best match since his match with Okada, which is a very, very heavy statement. Now, I am still actually watching the match. I'm still not at the moment. I'm clearly recording, but like I'm still watching the match. So I'll have a more educated opinion when I finish it.
God bless you.
But thank you. But I wanted to give Mo the floor for her to share her impressions on the match because you have had a lot to say.
Oh, I just love this match so much. Like, besides Mercedes, man, like, this was the match that, like, I was fiending to watch. Like, fiending to watch. Mainly because we know that these two have, like, a history with one another. They genuinely do not fuck with one another. We covered that in the previous episode. What is the beef between Kenny and Will Ospreay? And I also got some, like, further information through a source about, like, why Kenny does not like Will Ospreay. And it started off with Ibushi. Apparently there was a spot that happened that did not go right, and it left a fucking dent in Ibushi's head. And Kenny obviously has close relations to Ibushi. I mean, weren't they like the golden lovers back in Japan before? So yeah, that's where it started, and it kind of just snowballed into a lot more. And the way they built like the feud up between these two just made it just so much more exciting. And they referenced that. Not like in a promo, but what do they call it? The like a media scrum? Huh? Sorry?
Oh yeah, the press conference.
Yeah, the press conference. Like that's what I think Will Ospreay threatened Kenny with. But they also mentioned all the points that we said on the show about what Will has to go through versus what Kenny had to go through when he was in New Japan. That like, bro, like I've been holding this fucking promotion up on my own back. Like, you don't understand. And on top of that, people keep comparing me to you. Like, you know, I'm my own person. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks when like you've been busting your ass off and you literally been like carrying this company through the pandemic and everything, and everyone keeps comparing you to the person that you just went after. Like, it's like you're your own individual. You're building up your own little name, your own little empire. It's like people keep comparing you to him. So it just felt like he had something to prove because he wanted to just stop it all. You know what I mean? I got emotional when I listened to that, and I watched the match. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be nasty because they hate each other, and it showed during the match, y'all. The punches were stiff. The kicks were stiff. Like that little thing that they normally do when they bend you over and they do like the little kicks, the little soft kicks, and they kick you in the face. No, he was for real kicking him in the face. I was like, bro, there were some spots where I was just like, I can't tell if like they were just being like clever with the way like they were trying to counter, but there was like this one spot where I think that they were on the apron and Will Ospreay was trying to go for an os cutter, and for some reason, Kenny just decided to use his knees. It's just like, why would you use your knees? I felt like that was on purpose. I felt like he had a different counter, but he's just like, no, fuck this, man. I'm going to use my knees and fall back and grip the rope and let him land his back on my knees because he was on the ground and he was pissed. Will Ospreay looked pissed. Play that back. He looked pissed. There was another crazy part in the match where like they were like on a lot of crazy spots off the top rope, and it like looked like he was doing like some form of like a DDT. There's probably a better name for it, but the way he dropped him and he started bleeding, I was like, yo. Then there was this other part. Where like Kenny was just banging this man's face through the table, and you know how hard those you know how hard those tables are. He was just banging his face through the table, and before that, he put the table on top of him and stomped a hole through the table on his back. Like, he hated this man. It was like, so like, it had like my heart rate going because you could tell that they really don't hate each other. So that they really do hate each other. So it's just like when you're watching, some parts of it, you can see that they're trying to just deal with each other, but there's some parts where they're just like, one hits the other one so hard that they're trying to like come back harder. It was It was crazy. It was very good storytelling. I don't want to spoil the end because Jordan's gonna watch it. I mean, do you know the ending already? Like who
I
won
know
at
who
least?
wins. I know who wins.
Yeah. The storytelling in the match was just so beautiful. The pacing was like perfect. It definitely picks up and gets crazier at the end. But oh my god, it was just wonderful storytelling. At the end, I'm not going to front because of the way that they built Will Ospreay up, and like he had you feeling sorry for him. Like he really
Right.
had you feeling sorry for him. There's no other way that they're going to give this to Kenny. No, but they ended up giving this to Kenny, and it leads me to think. It leads me to think that there has to be like some form of a trilogy or something going here that they're going to take
Absolutely.
this and run with it because the first time I didn't understand it, and that's why I had to go back and rewatch it. At first, I was pissed. I was mad. I was just like, "Why would they do that? Like this could have been the end to a beautiful story." But I'm like, no, this is the beginning to like one of the greatest feuds since Kenny and Okada. You know what I mean?
Here, I was gonna say. Here's what I will say. Even though I'm still watching the match,
Yeah, go ahead.
the moment that I found out that Kenny won, I feel like that was part of like the business arrangement between New Japan and AEW.
Really,
It's
why?
like because it's like Kenny is one of your biggest, like Kenny, regardless of what's been happening over the past 3 months, 4 months, Kenny is one of AEW's biggest stars. So it's like if we give you Kenny, Kenny can't lose. Kenny got to look strong. We'll bring in and 9 times out of 10, what's probably going to happen is this is just my prediction. There's probably going to be a rematch on Dynamite or big AEW pay-per-view, and it may culminate at Forbidden Door if there is a second Forbidden Door. That way, New Japan gets theirs, AEW gets theirs, and then they both get the final. I feel
That
like
makes
that's
sense.
fair. I feel like that's
Yeah,
fair.
because the
So
way that they had Will Ospreay lose, it made him look like he went out like giving it his all, like he exhausted himself. And there was a point where at the end you thought that he had it, you thought that he really had it in the bag because he like put the last like ounce of like the last health point he had left. He just put that into what he was doing with Kenny, and then Kenny just got the upper hand. So like it wasn't like an outcome where it just looked like yeah he did win clean. Don't get me wrong, Kenny did win clean, but it's not like Ospreay didn't go out fighting with everything that he got. You know what I mean? So it does make sense to leave that wiggle room so that this could be brought over to AEW or this could be like a 3-part thing. I think it actually deserves to be like once you watch it, you're gonna be mind blown. I just thought the ending was perfect. I thought it was wonderful. I'm not sure if you watched the post match conference. Did you
I
watch that?
did
I think I did. You?
not between Kenny and Will. So
Yeah, you gotta watch that one when I give you a chance. That made me emotional because what happened to my mic? Do you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what the hell happened there. I heard feedback and then stop. Anyways, um, I was listening to it and God, like that just got me in my feels because Will, the way he handled the loss, I mean, I'm not sure if he's just that good of a freaking actor, man, but the way he just handled the loss, it just seemed like he had something to prove, not to just everyone, but like to himself, and he failed. And it had me emotional, man. And then this to just like throw salt into like the wound of this man sharing his life story. They had Kenny come out and just basically just said like now you see now you see through the bullshit what I've been trying to say about this place. You know what I mean? You're all the same. You're all the same. Like it's so perfect. He's such like I forgot how good of a villain that Kenny was in New Japan, but like when you watch that like post like match conference, and I don't want to spoil it, like you just need to watch it. Just it's really fucking good. It's just that like Kenny just throws salt in the wound of this man's sad ass life story about how he basically just failed Japan. He just failed himself, man. Like he was just like breaking the fourth wall of how shitty this place fucking is, and that he just had to just come here and beat your fucking ass so you could see it. You know what I mean? It was perfect. It was perfect, and I can't wait to see these two go at it again and possibly one more time. But everyone needs to watch that match. If you don't watch Wrestle Kingdom at all, people, at least watch that match. Like, I promise you, it's like already match of the year in my eyes. Like, Dave Meltzer better give me like 6.5 out of stars for that shit. Anyways.
I'm gonna I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna watch the match, but let us know what you think about this match in the comments as well. But